social media. It's not just about the platforms themselves.
To the preservation of the national unity and democratic stability.
Water is life, water is an essential service that we serve to carry out the residents.
Local communities are not only vital to the growth of society, but they also form the bedrock of humanitarian development.
Hello and welcome to the Reporter News and Current Affairs program that goes beyond the headlines, bringing reporters from the field to give first-hand accounts and in-depth analysis of unfolding issues, correspondence perspectives, ensuring balanced, credible, and comprehensive storytelling. Welcome once again. I am Annie Patrick. Let's bring you up to speed with some stories around security. The Armed Forces of Nigeria says it has recorded major operational success across the country, neutralizing terrorists, dismantling illegal facilities, arresting hundreds of criminal elements, and rescuing kidnapped elements or victims in coordinated operations nationwide. The update was given by the Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Michael Onoja, during the monthly operational briefing in Abuja. Our defense correspondent Kike Lomo-Okere was on ground and has more for us.
The Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Michael Onoja, disclosed that troops working with air assets and other security agencies dismantled 53 illegal refining sites, neutralizing scores of terrorists, arrested over 450 suspects, and rescued more than 250 kidnapped victims across the country within the period under review.
With illegal refining activities in the Niger Delta region, the air component of Operation Delta Safe conducted armed reconnaissance missions over Bakana and Abuloma towns. During the mission, it was observed that a large-sized barge was siphoning petroleum products. The target was acquired and engaged accordingly.
In the northeast, Major General Onoja says troops of Operation Adinkai sustained aggressive ground and air operations against Boko Haram, ISWAP, and JAS elements across Borno, Adamawa, and Yobe states. Between January 1 and 29, scores of terrorists were neutralized, 74 suspects arrested, 40 kidnapped victims rescued, while 44 terrorists and their families surrendered. It further reels out that in the southeast, Operation Udoka saw over 80 militants surrendered, dozens arrested, and kidnapped victims rescued, alongside a noted reduction in criminal activities across the region.
44 terrorists and their family members surrendered to troops during the month under review. Interestingly, 5 terrorist top commanders and 3 of their lieutenants were neutralized during firefights within the region.
The achievement recorded in January 2026, Major General Onoja says, cut across all theaters of operations and underlined the military's sustained push to restore peace, protect lives, and secure critical national assets. The Military High Command assures that pressure will be sustained on criminal elements nationwide with stronger interagency collaboration and community engagement. Kike Lomo-Okere, Global Television News.
And joining me right now is our defense correspondent, Kike Lomo-Okere, to bring us up to speed on what happened at that event. Hello, Kike. It's good to have you join me on The Reporter.
Hello,
Good to have you here. Let's quickly get up with this. With the armed forces dismantling 53 illegal refineries and rescuing over 250 kidnapped victims nationwide, how sustainable are these gains without stronger community cooperation and intelligence gathering sharing?
You know, Anita, what stands out from the defense headquarters briefing is the scale and the
The
spread of
Director
the
of Defense
operation. Actually, this isn't a situation where one theater is recording gains while other is quiet. The armed forces are clearly projecting simultaneously pressure in the northeast, northwest, and other theater of operation, and the south-south as well as the southeast. And what matters is they are being strategic about the operation. For example, in the northeast, the killing of senior commanders and the destruction of camps in the area like Tumbutu Triangle shows a continued focus on leadership and logistic disruption.
Well, I see that from what. All right, Kike. Okay, Kike. I don't know where you're standing right now, but I can hear some distorted sounds. Can you just move away from that area and let's get it clear so we can get a clearer sound from you. Well, also what I wanted to throw to you right now is as terrorists and militants surrender across multiple regions, does this signal a turning point in Nigeria's security fight, or are there deeper social-economic drivers of insecurity still unresolved?
All right, the truth of these gains are encouraging, but sustainability depends heavily on community cooperation and intelligence flow. Military operation can disrupt networks, dismantle illegal refineries, and rescue victims. But without timely, credible local intelligence, criminal elements, and to adapt, relocate, and to resurface. For instance, thrives on local support structure of informant to logistics. So once community disengage from and provide useful information early, basic job becomes easier and the impact.
Hello, Kike, are you still there with me?
Yes, I'm still here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Please continue.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Kike. So from what you've said, basically, you're saying basically what Nigeria needs to help the armed forces is to put out enough intelligence to ensure that their work is seamless from what we have there.
Exactly. Yes.
All right. But recently, Kike, you were also... Yes.
This applies to kidnapping and banditry. Most rescues happens because of intelligence, not chance encounter. What the armed forces are doing now is creating pressure and shrinking operational space. But for these successes to endure, communities must trust security agencies enough to share information, and intelligence agencies must act swiftly to protect sources.
Okay, Kike, recently you were in Makurdi, that's Benue State, and also you also foot soldiers as well, who were also in other parts of the country where there were operational checkups to see how the operations in the different regions are done. Can you bring us up to speed and how this relates to the briefing you had today at the Defense Headquarters?
Actually, I went to Makurdi, that is Operation Wild Stroke, and looking at the operation area in that theater of operation, you can see that the Defense Headquarters has scaled up the spread of operation, and there is collaboration between the community and the military in order to root out all these banditry in that area, the killing of the senior commanders and destruction of camps, for them not to taking place in that area, as they have really intensified their operations across that region.
All right, amazing. Thank you so much, Kike, for bringing us up to speed. We look forward to more engaging conversation as the nation looks forward to ensuring that citizens are safe. Insecurity becomes a thing of the past, and Nigeria would have citizens will have the reason to go to bed and feel safe at every point in time. Thank you so much for your time, Kike.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Amazing. So let's turn our focus away from security matters and head to the political scene. The African Democratic Congress has called on Nigerians to embrace loyalty to a cause. democratic values and the nation as the country moves towards the 2027 general elections. The party says Nigeria's political future depends on leaders and citizens who place national interests above personal ambition. Our political correspondent Ubong Usoro tells us more.
Political alliances. At a gathering of prominent members of the African Democratic Congress (ADC), the party's leadership engaged in a critical conversation on the place of loyalty in Nigeria's democratic journey. Speaking at the event, former Vice President of Nigeria, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, stressed that true loyalty should be to the nation, democratic institutions, and guiding principles, not to individuals or personal ambitions.
Much more positively with the development or political development of our country is the emergence of this coming together of various political leanings to rescue this country.
Also speaking, former Governor of Ogun State, Rauf Aregbesola, emphasized that loyalty must be anchored on a cause rather than on personalities. He noted that political powers ultimately belongs to the people, insisting that governors do not win elections on their own, but through the collective will of the electorate. He expressed confidence that the ADC stands a strong chance of success in 2027 based on ideology, structure, and popular support rather than political opportunism.
Is it loyalty to a person or loyalty to a cause? I come from a tradition that believes that you must be loyal to a cause, not to a personality. And I'm clear on it. And I don't want to misunderstood. It doesn't mean value support.
ADC national spokesperson Bolaji Abdullahi reinforced the party's position, stating that loyalty in politics must be on ideals and principles, not to individuals.
There is the first one I call loyalty as obligation, loyalty as duty, like in loyalty to a country. Whether we like it or not, we'll be loyal to our country. Whether the country helps us or it hurts us as it's currently hurting us, we'll remain loyal to our country. The second one is what I call loyalty as devotion. A religion, a religious personality, a cult hero, a cult of personality, because we are devoted to that person.
The ADC says it is committed to offering Nigerians a credible alternative to the ruling APC as the nation heads into the 2027 general elections. Ubong Usoro for Global Television News.
All right, joining me live in the studio is Ubong Usoro. Of course, he understands the political terrain and what's happening with the build-up to 2027 general election. Hello, Ubong. It's good to have you join me. So this conversation has been one that has been in the space of the political right now, political scene, because a whole lot is happening in a political environment marked for frequent defections. How does the ADC intend to translate its call for loyalty to ideals into concrete party principles and governance practice ahead of 2027? Because that's one concern a lot of Nigerians or political analysts have actually been asking across board.
Right. I think the ADC understands how the Nigerian political system works. If you look at the ADC, you see that these are experienced politicians who've done politics across board. The chairman of the ADC is Senator David Mark. He's the longest serving Nigerian Senate president ever in history. The secretary of the ADC is Rauf Aregbesola, former governor of Osun State, two-time governor, and former commissioner in Lagos State. So he's also very grounded in politics as well. So they understand, because they themselves have moved from various platforms to, they picked the ADC as a vehicle for the coalition movement. Remember, they were also trying to register a party, which INEC registration is going on. About 112 associations have applied for registration, but you know, with registration it could take time. So they needed to find a platform to start galvanizing. That's why they picked the ADC. And I think what Bolaji Abdullahi is doing is calling Nigerian politicians to a place of conscience, politics with morality? Can we agree on a platform and stay true to it? Because I think the ADC is also knows that if it doesn't have members who are loyal to that particular platform, they cannot challenge the ruling All Progressive. Already they've seen Nigerian governors move in droves to the APC. So I think it's a timely message to teach their members we have to be loyal. And you asked what they are doing. On the 2nd of February, I'll be going to cover an event of the ADC where they will be having a committee of what they call 50 wise men and women that will draft out a manifesto for the party as to where to go. So I think that is setting the blueprint. Can we stay with our party? Can we pull out the
And can we have loyalists?
Can we have people who are loyal to the party?
So you don't have to be shared interests across the board.
Yeah, well, even when it comes, because this is towards 2027, a lot will come, a lot of ventures will come, people will make approaches, but can we still stay true to this platform? So
with the likes of Atiku Abubakar, just like you mentioned, and we have several of politicians who have been in the political space in a long time, Aregbesola stressing loyalty to national or to nation over individuals. How does the ADC differentiate itself from parties often accused of personality-driven politics? Just like you've mentioned, there's a manifesto which is going to serve as a blueprint. But do you see this likes of politicians who have been in the politics in the long run going to play loyalty for a fresh start?
Right. I think that in Nigerian politics, we've not gotten to that place. Even in the US, we've not gotten to that place in our politics where we can totally differentiate our political parties from personalities. It will be a far cry and we'll be deceiving ourselves. For instance, if you look at the ADC today, there are at least 3 major personalities that can scatter or make the ADC. The person of the former Vice President Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, who is very influential in the ADC. The entrance of Peter Obi, former Labour Party, who also comes into the ADC for a lot of leverage with what he was able to do in 2023. And there's also a person of a certain Nasir El-Rufai, who also carries a lot of political weight. So for me, these are the 3 focal personalities in the ADC. Then we can now start talking about the other persons and what they also bring. Amechi is there, Aregbesola, and the rest of them.
So the personality-driven practice is still going to be there as well to drive the force.
Bolaji Abdullahi, the ADC Public Secretary, said very categorically that our leaders of the party must shun personal ambition and work as a party.
Exactly,
because
my
he said
point.
At this moment they're still working as personalities.
That's what it looks like. That's why I asked. When were they going to differentiate that?
Yeah, but they have to collapse that and be able to work as a union. And that's what I said, that unless they're able to do that, they do not even stand a chance. Because now in the APC, it is clear that the only personality the APC has, at least frontline personality, is the person of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Everybody's rallying around
exactly. So there's a focus, there's a drive.
Central point. But in the ADC, it's not so, because we have a lot. So everybody must come on board and
submit and be loyal to that particular practice.
Be loyal to the party and not to personalities.
Amazing. I hope that pans out, because as the ADC positions itself to stand as for credible alternative to the APC, who's the ruling party right now, what assurances can Nigerians expect that as the party ideology and internal loyalty plays out, that 2027 would go well and elections will not collapse under political ambition coming out from these personalities?
I think that whatever happens at the end of the day, the Nigerian people will win, because the Nigerian people now have a viable, we can call it a third force, second force, depending on what happens to the PDP. But you now have a force that is viable, that can look the ruling APC personality to personality. They also have a lot of key personalities here. They also have influence here. So it's good for our democracy, because it offers more platforms for people to want to run. So if you cannot run in the APC, the ADC is also a viable platform. The PDP hopefully becomes a viable platform before 2027. So Nigerians have a lot of choices to make. So whatever happens, the Nigerian people will win. And for me, I think that's more important than the success of whether ADC or PDP.
Nigerian people always, because like you mentioned, just mentioned a few parties, which is one mentioned across board. Don't forget we have other parties who might have their internal crisis and all that, but we hope that as they look towards 2027, all of these issues will be able to be collapsed, and they will have parties stand and bring out candidates who represent them ahead of of 2020, and then Nigerians will have a choice to pick the person of their choice.
Absolutely, because these parties are the only tools that we have to elect the people we want. Okay. As of today, Nigeria is not running independent candidature. So no matter how popular you are, you need a platform to run. Right. So we hope that parties are able to, people are able to stay loyal to platforms so it doesn't collapse like what is happening.
Amazing. We look forward to that playing out. Thank you so much, Ubong, for coming on the Reporter. Let's move our focus away from Ubong and tell you other stories happening exactly in the agricultural sector, where we have that the federal government says it is moving to overhaul Nigeria's cooperative sector through full digitalization in a bid to improve transparency, governance, and access to economic opportunities for millions of Nigerians. The plan was unveiled in Abuja at the stakeholders meeting reviewing the Nigerian Cooperative Societies Act. Our correspondent tells us more. Nigeria's over 30,000 registered cooperative societies may soon operate a modern digital framework as the federal government intensifies efforts to reposition the sector as a key driver of inclusive economic growth. Speaking at a stakeholders meeting in Abuja, the Minister of State for Agriculture and Food Security, Senator Aliu Abdullahi, said digitalization would transform cooperative operations, ensure transparency in financial reporting, and strengthen trust among members.
The Cooperative Societies Act is one of the most efficient and critical legislations that govern the cooperative sector in Nigeria. It defines how we organize, regulate, supervise, promote, protect, and strengthen the cooperative movement.
According to him, cooperatives, when properly structured, can serve as powerful tools for capital mobilization, job creation, poverty reduction, and agricultural productivity. He said the key components of the reform include digital registration, a national cooperative database, electronic membership, identification, and improved filing and reporting systems. The minister also disclosed that a harmonized national document aligned with continental cooperative laws and declarations will soon be finalized, with international partners joining the reform process. The President's Cooperative Federation of Nigeria, Hanatu Mashek, noted that the initiative would boost confidence in cooperatives and unlock new opportunities across the sector.
By taking depositors' money, it means you have gone outside the cooperative principle. So this time around, the cooperative bank must align to the cooperative identity. That's the only thing. Anything outside it, we're not going to get it.
With agriculture and community enterprise at the heart of Nigeria's economic diversification drive, the federal government believes a digitally empowered cooperative system could become a major catalyst for shared prosperity. Well, there you have it. Would this put in place? The question on the minds of many Nigerians is, could this initiative really help small-scale farmers and community entrepreneurs access finance more easily? And how will the implementation process take place? All of those are the concerns raised, and we look forward to that happening in the course of the future. But let's turn our focus on the legislative front. Following growing concerns over declining services and worsening insecurity on key rail corridors, the Senate has set up an ad hoc committee to probe the award and execution of railway contracts across the nation. The decision was taken after lawmakers raised alarm over disruptions on the Kano-Kaduna rail line. Our correspondent tells us more. The resolution followed a point of order raised by Senator Abdul Ningi, who drew the Senate's attention to what he described as the tragic decline in operations on the Kano-Kaduna rail corridor. He told the chamber that passenger services on the routes have dropped to just one trip per day, while cargo movement time has nearly doubled.
While the railway was working on full capacity, they were, of course, creating a revenue of close to 1.8 billion monthly. The story I'm about to reel out, Mr. President, that at this moment, there is no live cargo except one.
Supporting the concern, Senator Adamu Aleru said persistent bandit attacks have caused extensive damage to rail facilities, contributing significantly to the reduction in train operations.
It is true that the number of trips has dropped drastically from 5 to only 1. And this is simply because the bandits have damaged the truck.
However, President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, dismissed claims that inadequate funding was the primary challenge, insisting that poor quality infrastructure and substandard execution of contracts were at the heart of the problem. He stressed the need for a thorough legislative investigation into how railway projects were designed, awarded, and implemented.
We had set up a committee under you to look into this railway system. Look at the rail tracks, look at the coaches and everything, and why they were failing. And why it would take, like he said, 3.5 hours for something that should take 25 minutes to Kaduna by the modern railway standard.
The Senate says the ad hoc committee will examine railway project designs, funding patterns, execution standards, and maintenance frameworks, with a view to restoring efficiency and safety across Nigeria's rail network. Well, with that's the size of the program. Thank you for staying with us on The Reporter. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and StarTimes channel 276. To stay connected, kindly follow us across all social media platforms showing on your screen using @GlobalTVNG. Thank you for staying with us on The Reporter. I am Annie T. Patrick. Bye for now.
Of how we use social media. It's not just about the platforms themselves.
To the preservation of the national unity and democratic stability.
Water is life, water is an essential service that we must have to carry out the residents.
Local communities are not only vital to the growth of society, but they also form the bedrock